What is a design confession that you have?
Can I say that I hate rain showers?
Yes! Yes! Okay, design confession, this is good. This is where creativity gets lit. I'm talking bold pivots, design funks, and those tiny rituals that keep us grounded. I'm interior designer and creative director Ali Velji, and on ABD Inspire, I sit down with artists, makers, and icons for the real conversations behind the work. Okay, design lovers, I am so thrilled to be launching season 2 of ABD Inspire and to have a very special guest as my very first guest for season 2 is Anicka Quin. She is the VP of Content at Canada Wide Media. She leads editorial teams at Western Living, BC Business, BC Living, TV Week, Vancouver Magazine. I don't even know how she does it all, but she does, and she does it really well. And of course, under her leadership, these regional brands have gained national exposure, winning top honors at the Canadian Online Publishing Awards, the National Magazine Awards, and the Editor's Choice Awards. So I couldn't be more happy to welcome my good friend Anicka Quin to ABD Inspire. Welcome.
Thanks, Ali. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Yes, I wanted to have you on season 1, but I don't know. I think that our schedules just didn't align.
Inevitably.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
But I'm so thrilled that you could be here. And I mean, you and I go way back. You have been an amazing champion of ABD in sort of terms of interior design and featuring us in the magazine. And it's just been an absolute pleasure to get to know you. And so this journey almost feels like full circle because usually you're interviewing me.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And now I get to talk to you. So the roles have reversed, which I love.
For sure.
So tell me about sort of your journey and what sort of got you into this whole magazine world.
Yeah. It's funny. It wasn't a direct launch for me. I went to school to study environmental science. I planned to be actually either an outdoor ed teacher or an environmental consultant. But in university, I was also super obsessed with music, and I saw that the student paper was hiring for music writers. And that would have been, for me, I was like, you mean I can meet bands and I can go to concerts?
Right? Yeah.
So I did. I went and I just fell in love with the whole process. I was a music writer for a long time. And then I worked for an independent alt weekly for a couple years. They eventually went bankrupt. And I had this opportunity to work for an environmental magazine for a little bit, which was a nice little sort of combo. And then moved out to the West Coast to do my master's because I sort of felt like I'd kind of fallen into this whole world. And when I was doing that, that's when I met the editor of Western Living magazine. So, and then it was kind of love at first sight.
Wow.
Let's start working there. I've been there forever. And just love the whole community that's around that magazine, especially.
And I just love the fact that you're championing sort of, design, architecture, food that happens in Western Canada, because I think for so long it's just been all about the East Coast and what's happening there and the larger cities there. But there is so much incredible talent out here. And, the fact of the matter that you guys are featuring these incredible artists and designers from the West, I feel like it gives us a really nice platform. So thank you.
Yeah, well, and I love being a part of it. I feel like readers really feel a kind of ownership over Western Living. Like they grew up with it, right?
Yeah,
Like I hear, even last night I was at an event and someone said, oh my God, that was always on my coffee table growing up. Like it really is always part of their world. And I hear from designers that, when they're in a national publication, they get accolades from their peers. When they're in Western Living, they get work. And that's because our readers want to hire these amazing, talented designers that live out here.
Absolutely.
And it's so awesome to be a part of that kind of platform, to elevate that work and really shine a spotlight on what we have going on out here.
Well, I think that it's so incredible what you're doing, and it's just it's awesome, and it's nice to have that, and because sometimes, getting published is really difficult because there are so many designers pitching their projects. So when we're talking about publishing, how does, first of all, one get published, and what are the things that you're looking for in terms of content? Like if, interior designers out there are looking to have their projects published, and if, what is it that you look for?
Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, honestly, 90% of the things that we say no to are still incredible homes that I would live in a heartbeat,
Totally. Yeah.
And really, what we're trying to find is something where the homeowner really comes through too. You see something really unique and special because the designer and the homeowner have clearly had a very good conversation, very good way of working together, and something really special and unique comes out. So it's something that is surprising usually. So we'll look at it and be like, oh, wow, I haven't seen that before.
Right.
Without it feeling like ridiculous, right?
Of
Sometimes you're just
course.
like, okay, but that's too much. So something surprising, something that will delight readers. Like I really want to have people, sort of getting immersed in that world and really understanding that that's a really unique space for that person. It was designed just for that person,
Right.
and not from a Pinterest board, not something
Absolutely.
that everybody else wants to.
Yeah, and I feel like everything that is published in Western Living feels like it's like sort of attainable.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
approachable, it feels attainable, which is the way that I like to design, so it
Sure.
fits really well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
no, I love that. And I think that's a really important lesson. And, sort of going back to your trajectory of like how you started and what you thought you were going to do and what
Yeah.
you are doing now,
Yeah.
that's, and it resonates the story with a lot of people. Even with season one, everybody that I talked to, literally every single person was like, I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing today.
Right.
So I think that's a really important lesson for the listeners, the watchers out there, that it's like you could have something in mind of what you want to do,
Yeah.
but you should be open
Yeah.
to, life leading you in a completely different way. It's time for Design Tea Break. Every designer has that one source they'll actually talk about. For me, it's Robinson Lighting and Bath. Why? Because they totally get me. Lighting that absolutely transforms a space, plumbing that feels iconic, and a team that knows the difference between good enough and this is it. This isn't just about shopping, it's about elevating the whole design process and bringing homes to life. Explore at Robinson Lighting and Bath, or book a visit to a showroom near you and let the pros guide you.
I'm in a mentorship program with like teenage girls, and there's so much pressure on them to decide in high school what they want to do for the rest of their life. Right?
Absolutely.
And I'll say, like, you know what? It's just about choosing the next step. It doesn't actually matter what the lifelong thing is. Choose the next step. See if you like it. It's as important for you to figure out what you don't like as it is to figure out what you like.
Absolutely.
And then keep going and to be open to those other opportunities. For me, it was seeing this ad in the student paper that pulled me in a whole new direction that I immediately fell in love with. I still finished my degree. I don't regret that at all. That's just sort of more info I've got up there.
Totally.
But I fell in love with this process and this whole, publishing world that I'm involved with.
And, sort of it goes the same for me. Like I literally was going through the newspaper and there was an ad that my best friend and I saw for Bow Valley College offering an interior decorating program. And it was the first year they implemented it, and I hadn't gone back to school after high school. And I was just like, this seems like it would be a good idea, and you do that, and all of a sudden here we are today, like literally 20 years later, and it's just like, if I wouldn't have read that little moment in the newspaper, I probably wouldn't be here. So it's so crazy.
Totally.
Okay, so now this season is all about design confessions.
Okay.
So the first season was very sort of like, I feel a little more serious, and I want to have a bit more fun this season.
Great.
So I have an amazing list of questions for you. So
I'm in.
If you're ready for it, I will blast them out your way. And the first thing that comes to your mind, you just have to tell me.
Okay.
So what is a design confession that you have? So opinion or habit that you don't normally admit out loud that you do in terms of like design.
Okay. Can I say that I hate rain showers?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I feel like they are not designed for women to begin with, because it's impossible. If I just want to shower and not wash my hair, you can't get around them, right? They're there.
Totally.
And if I'm in a hotel that has them, inevitably they leak as well.
And they're just the pressure is just never there.
Never enough.
Yeah, no.
So even when you are using it, you can't get the shampoo out. I just feel like it doesn't create the supposed relaxing environment they're supposed to create.
Okay. All right. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes. Okay, design confession. This is good. Okay, this is so awesome. Okay, so we talked about your career
Yeah.
a little bit. Now, what was a career breakthrough for you that really was a turning point?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think it was probably the first year. So I became editor in chief of Western Living in 2010, so quite a while ago. But I remember so clearly that first Designers of the Year when I was waiting to go up on stage and I was so nervous. And then I had this moment where I was like, you know what? Everyone in the audience is on your side right now. And people are like, they're only going to be excited.
Yeah.
And I felt it all drop away. Like I was just like, yeah, okay. And I felt like a part of it. It felt like amazing community to be a part of, amazing
Yes.
community to celebrate.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that was kind of this turning point to, because I had to learn about design on the job, right? I'd come from music. I was just like, okay, I'm in this now. And it felt great. It felt like an exciting time in my life.
Absolutely. And that's so cool. And talking about Western Living Designer of the Year awards, that's something that, I mean, I just saw you last week. We were just in
Yes.
Vancouver.
Congratulations.
Thank
One of our
you.
winners.
Thank you very much. But I just want to let you know, like, the energy that I felt in that room
Yeah.
with everyone there, it was so positive and it was so incredible. I honestly left there on a high, like on a buzz. Like, it took me a while to fall asleep that night because I was just thinking about all of the amazing things that happened and all the amazing people I met.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just a great community. So just thanks for bringing it all together. Honestly,
I'm thrilled to be a part of it too. It really does
it
feel.
must feel pretty cool.
It does. I had to
Yeah.
call a friend on the drive home. Just was like, I have to talk to someone.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled with how it all went. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Now, when it comes to the future of design, where do you see the future of design going in terms of what you're seeing now with projects kind of being put forth? What are you excited about and what are you like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this is happening?
Excited about. I love seeing how much more layered and kind of rich environments are becoming. I think that for a long time there was a real trend towards austere and cool and it had its moment too. But I feel like the projects I'm most excited about are just layered and layered and layered. It's texture, it's textiles, it's all kinds of things that really create a delightful space. And I
Speak
see
in my
that
language. Yeah.
totally. And
Yeah.
I mean, you're so strong at that. It's
Thank
just
you.
like your projects absolutely speak to that. And I see that broadly, as well as not really sticking to one particular era even. You're seeing sort of a real melding of styles and designs, and that's really exciting. And I love that. I mean, some of the things that I worry about a little, in the same way that I worry about it in publishing, is AI and people sort of
Yeah.
like releasing, like not understanding what you get out of working with really talented people. That in the same way, if you read a piece that's written by AI, you can be like, oh yeah, it's not saying anything.
Right.
That when you see a room that's designed by AI, it's not saying anything, right? It's everybody else's room, it's everybody else's design. And I'm hopeful that there's that maybe sort of excitement about it at first, and then be like, oh yeah, right. That's not why we work with a talented
Well,
team of
right.
people.
And there's something to be said about a relationship with a designer or an architect that you build a really strong sort of rapport and they really get you. Whereas a computer is not going to get your deepest thoughts about how you want to live in a space, you know? And so I'm so glad you said that because, I mean, we use AI as a tool in the office.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's a really helpful tool, you know, like
Yeah, there's all kinds of great ways to use it.
absolutely
As we do too in the
correct.
office.
Yeah, you know, but there's a limit, you know, and I think that there's only so much that it can do. Whereas, like, you know, human contact and having those face-to-face meetings, I think is key in creating spaces and designing homes and buildings and all that stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this sort of leads us into the next conversation about trends. What is a trend that you, like, I mean, we talked about layers and all of that, but what is a trend that you're seeing right now that you are most keen to sort of talk about, to feature?
Yeah. Color, I guess, like really rich, kind of moody and maybe even a little bit muddy colors.
Yeah.
I mean, I love color and design to begin with, and I see, especially as you get into winter, like you just realize how important it is
Yeah.
to have that sort of space.
100%.
And I'm seeing really sort of fun, like sort of rusty reds and like sage greens, things that just feel like earthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like sanctuary moments, you
Yeah,
know? I
yeah.
think that that's what it's about. But I feel like there's this like nod to this almost like 90s, 80s color combo situations that I'm
Yeah,
seeing
for
right now
sure,
too that
totally.
I think are, really interesting. And I think maybe more so in a commercial setting, not necessarily residential, but like those poppy colors that really kind of work together, like
Yeah.
citron yellow with like a really deep navy blue or
Oh yeah, I
something,
love that.
like it's just it's super cool.
Yeah.
um Now, I'm a huge sort of believer that everything that we do in terms of design has to be timeless. I want to look back on projects that I've done 10, 20 years from now and still sort of have this timeless quality. What does timeless mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think ideally it means a space that really works for the person. So, and I think if it works for a person, it's going to work for a lot of people. So, and it gets back to those conversations of like, I think of some of the conversations I've had with designers where the person said, oh, it drove them crazy that they were always kicking the cat bowl. And so they figured out a proper way to have like an animal space that's tucked into the cabinetry and that
Right?
sort of thing. Or the place to properly put yours and your kids' coats, and they each have their own space and
Right.
it's tucked away, but it's still beautiful. So things like thoughtful placement for the things in your life, but also thoughtful concepts for the things you do in your
Yeah,
life so that it's
absolutely.
just, it functions like a machine in a lot of ways. It does everything it should so
Correct.
that life just feels easier. And then there's beauty, right? So you
Yeah.
have something that's beautiful, but so functional.
You can have both of those things,
Totally.
and I think that it's one of those things where you go back to the AI situation. It's like there's a designer that you're going to have a chat with about a millwork moment, about how you enter your mudroom and what you need. And those sort of design details will go into the millwork designs. Whereas, if somebody just comes up with something for you super quickly, it's just
Yeah.
not going to have that
Yeah,
detail. Yeah,
totally.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to your design heroes, who are some of them?
Yeah. You know who comes to mind is Omer Arbel from
Yeah,
Hachi.
correct.
I've heard him speak before, and he has such an interesting process. I think that's what I mean, his products are beautiful, Hachi. I just like every time they come up with a new one, I'm like, oh yeah, how come no one did that
Right?
before?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, totally.
but it's for him, it's also as much about the like the failures and the getting there. And it really is, he's just excited to sort of figure out how to develop new techniques to get somewhere. And I find that super fascinating. Um, I'm also excited about some of the like people I'm seeing up and coming. We have the Robert Lettingham Memorial Award for
Yes.
Emerging Designers, and the folks that won it this year, and Daughters in Vancouver, and then previously Studio Roslyn. They're like doing super interesting work
I
too. Like
agree.
it's
I agree.
amazing to see these kind of stalwarts, and then be excited about the people that are kind of changing things up in the next generation of design.
It's so true, and I love that you say that because there are so many incredible talents, up and comers that are sort of changing the trajectory of design, not only in Western Canada but in Canada as a whole.
Totally.
And I truly believe that, like, I met the ladies at And Daughters, and they were so lovely, and I had to go up to them and tell them, I was like, your projects are so layered and they're
Yeah.
so thoughtful, and they feel like spaces when you look at them that you're like, I want that.
Totally.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're super, super cool. It's design confession time again. People always ask me where to go when they're stuck between safe and absolutely stunning when it comes to their lighting and plumbing choices. And my answer is always the same: Robinson Lighting and Bath. With 34 locations across Canada, they carry a range that works for both homeowners and pros, from bold focal points to full home solutions. But the difference is their team. Professionals who guide you, challenge you, and help you make the right call. Robinson, the trusted source that I will share with everyone. Discover the nearest showroom near you for endless possibilities. If you had your own podcast, who would be a dream guest for you?
Yeah. This probably goes back to my music
I
days.
was thinking it would.
I know. And in part because she has a new album coming out, and I saw her in a private concert last week, and that's Sarah McLachlan.
Oh my God. First of all, wait a minute. She has a new album coming out. Oh my God.
Yes, it's like the
Okay.
first one in 11 years.
Holy. Okay. You guys, you heard it here first. Look at it. I love that.
Totally. And I was such a fan of her in high school and university, and seeing her at this concert last week, I was like, what a queen. Like,
Oh my God.
I would love to chat with her. And then of course she has this big Lilith Fair documentary
Yeah.
coming out right now
Yeah.
too. And that was, in reflection, when you look back on everything that she managed to accomplish and change the world through.
Lilith Fair was a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. To shift the way people thought about music and women in music was huge. And so I'd love to chat with her about that.
That's incredible. Oh my God. Yes. Canadian icon.
Yeah,
Totally. Okay. Super. All right. So 2 questions that I'll put together. Favorite city,
Okay.
because I know you do a lot of travel.
Yes.
And so I want to know your favorite city and why.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to leave it at that. Favorite city and why.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's such a cliche, but it would have to be Paris.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's like, I mean, of course, there's amazing museum moments. I love going to the Musée des Arts Décoratifs et Décoratifs, because
Yes.
there's always some fantastic design exhibition there, and their chair archive they have on the top floor is incredible. Like every chair through the ages, I revisit it every time, and I just love it. But there's nothing better than sitting on a terrace in Paris with a
glass of rosé.
Yes. In the summer with some ice cubes. I mean, the architecture is amazing. The vibe is amazing. I'm heading there in a week, so
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait to get back. And I feel like it just gets me like back into a space of inspiration being there. So
it's one of those things about travel too for me. It's like the moments that I have the best time when I'm traveling is when I can actually like wind down a bit and just like walk around the streets of Paris and stop in at a cafe because I want a bite to eat, and there's like no agenda.
100%.
That
is absolutely me in Paris. It's like I just want to walk.
Yeah.
I want to find a place to sit.
Totally.
Yeah.
And just go into a random shop that you never even thought. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. Super.
Yeah.
And then one last question is, what's on your playlist right now?
Okay.
What are you listening to?
It's often a combo. So my number one of all time is George Michael.
Oh my God. I think we had a moment about George Michael at a party.
I named my cat after him.
Oh my God. I love
Her
that.
name's Georgie.
Yes.
So there's always George Michael in there.
Okay.
I'm also a big fan of singer-songwriters. So, I love Brandy Carlisle. I love the band Muna.
Okay.
I really loved Maggie Rogers' latest album.
Okay.
But I mean, no matter what, George is there. And if George comes on, like when I'm out dancing, then everybody knows it's my time.
It is time. Annicka's hitting the dance floor. Yes. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. This has been a delightful conversation.
Really
Thank you so much for making the time to come and see me, to sit down with me. It really means the world.
Yes, I loved it.
And this has just been an absolute delight. So thank you for being here. And so if you are so inclined to follow Anicka, they can follow you at?
It's Anicka on Instagram, so Aniqua.
Perfect. And of course, please head on to www.westernliving.ca/subscribe so that you can subscribe to the newsletter, you can subscribe to the magazine.
For free, actually. Our print copies are free.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything.
So get
As long
your
as you're Canadian.
Well, correct. Yes. I love that. That's a wrap on the first episode of season 2 of ABD Inspire, and what a way to kick it off. Anicka Quin from Western Living Magazine, thank you so much for being here. You always provide such a fresh perspective and passion. What an incredible conversation. This episode wouldn't have been possible without Robinson Lighting and Bath. Whether you're hunting for that iconic focal point or pulling together a whole home solution, their team of pros helps you get it right every single time. You can visit robinsonco.ca to browse all of their amazing selections and follow them at Robinson LTG Bath on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. If you enjoyed this chat and this conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Please subscribe and share with your design crew. I'm Ali Velji, and remember that design's best stories always start with bold details. I love ya. Mwah.